Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Thursday, September 21st, 2017. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Let's take a look here at the daily time frame of the ES. We have the FOMC statement and the Fed interest rate decision has come and gone. We have our FOMC key levels here. You can see I mark it off with the date FOMC 0920 so that I remember when it occurred. It also has the price at the 1 o'clock open Central, 2 o'clock open Eastern. It's 2504. That's the key level that we're going to be using here in the PivotBoss Premium Trading Room. What we do here is watch this level very closely, because when price finally makes a move away from it, you usually see a move back to it at some point, perhaps through it and then back to it. You see it happen over and over. When price makes a move away from it, it comes back to it. Then away from it, it comes back to it. Gets away from it over here, perhaps we may come back to this one. So we'll watch to see how price behaves off of these key levels. At the moment, we continue to be in an uptrending market. However, there's no real game being played right now. This is about the weakest price action I've seen in quite a long time. This huge day we had yesterday was all of 13 handles. We've been averaging barely 10 handles a day of average range over the last 2 weeks, which is just very, very weak. It's around holiday trading levels. Usually during the holidays, we're trading around 12 handles a day. Right now, we're barely scratching 5 sometimes. So this is pretty weak action, but overall, we continue to be in an uptrend. 2480 is price continues to hold above that zone. And what I mentioned before, even if we do drop into this zone here, bulls will be eager to defend for another round of strength to new highs into 2715 and perhaps into the 100% target of 2546. So that's a look at the ES. Let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil continues to trade here around the previous month's high price. Remains in a short-term uptrend, but in a longer-term sideways range. So again, I mentioned before, we're sitting right here around composite VPOC. And while we're at an edge of the previous month's range, this is still right around composite VPOC. All of this right here is just very difficult behavior here to really engage on a swing basis. It's really out this way or down this way where the best opportunities occur. And so right now we're still kind of in a wait and see mode on a swing basis. Intraday we had a move downward here off of the previous session's highs. And so far, let's take a look at the intraday here. Here's the intraday. So far, we've been trending downward here since yesterday's highs, and 51.11 was the high, rejected here, pulled back, and here's the FOMC at 50.90, and then prices sold off since then. So it's been a short-term downtrending market today. You can see VWAP trending downward. VWAP on a one-day basis, on a weekly basis, and then you have 1 and 5-day VPOC. They're all about the same. That's 50-40. So right now we just reached the previous session's low price. If there's any rejection here at S3, the short-term idea is to return this thing back to value. Bears will likely look to defend it and return it back down. Above this level would return prices to the close and a retest of 50.90. So right now, we're at a kind of a key zone right now in a very short term that could return price to value. All right, let's take a look here at gold futures. Gold right now under 1300 for the first time in a while. We'll go to the PivotBoss Pivots view. Basically, this view right here shows that we were long in the tooth in that rally. I mentioned that we could see one more move, one more for a shot at 1375. But when we started to see those failed new highs, that kind of backed things off, and we were looking for lower prices. This is kind of the recipe for what happens each and every time when price fails to get that pullback high. You get a failed new high, and all of a sudden you're dropping. And so we've seen a steady move back toward 1300, now below it. I mentioned before, this is the major pivot now, and so it's going to be interesting to see, do bulls come in and defend 1300 overall, or does it give way and open a path to 1253.60? So again, the easier moves in gold were at the edges here. This failed drop down suggested a squeeze, and now we're looking for the next best opportunity here. 1300 is the key pivot to watch. to see how this thing plays out. Now let's take a look here at the NQ. The NQ has been very, very quiet as well. This one has been averaging about 49 points per day on average, but really hasn't been reaching that every single day here. It's been very, very quiet. Right now, for example, we have a 16.5 point range inside day, holding around that 59.74.75 FOMC key level from yesterday afternoon. So right now we have an uptrending market. This thing has been sitting at 6K for some time, and now we have our new FOMC key level here. Very, very tightly coiled price action. Look over here. I always mention, we watch the PivotBoss Advanced ADR indicator to see, average range and expansion and compression. Back over here, we had a big expansion move, wide ranges, and now we had some compression. Look how this thing has dropped significantly, and now we have very, very tightly coiled price action here. Average range is right there, when before that's about as low as it's been. I mean, average range used to be at least 200 points a day back in these days over here, and now we're barely sitting here way down on a 5-day basis. So this is very, very tightly coiled price action, and at some point here we're going to see expansion from this range, and we're going to see this thing pop up, and you're going to see the average price range prop up significantly. So we're going to see expansion soon. Does it go down first and take some things out and then rally? I think that's going to be the case here. At some point we may see some pullback, just as we have over the last several months. Every time we get an FOMC key level, we pull back some, eventually bust through. Pull back some, bust through. So we'll see how that plays out. The uptrend remains intact. We have support down here. If price does pull back, there could be a great buying opportunity for another round of strength. Above that level has 60.86 and 62.64 on a long-term basis. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.